Good morning, students. Accountancy class, Chapter 1, Financial Statements of a Company. And till now, we have done equity and liability sides completely. Current liability, non-current liability, and shareholder fund that we have done. And yesterday, we did non-current asset. We started with the asset side and we did with non-current assets. So I'm repeating the subheads of the non-current assets for a quick revision. Then we'll start with today's topic. In non-current assets, we did 5 subheads: fixed asset, non-current investment, deferred tax assets, long-term loans and advances, and other non-current assets. These are the 5 subheads of non-current asset. Now I am discussing with the examples of these subheads. Fixed assets. First subhead and the most important head in non-current asset is fixed assets. Fixed asset further has 4 subparts. That was the tangible asset, intangible asset. Intangible assets, all the land, building, plant, machinery. Then intangible assets, goodwill, patent, trademark, copyright, etc. Then capital work in progress. Then intangible assets under development, means which are not fully developed, they are in work in progress. So these are the 4 subheads of fixed assets: tangible, intangible, capital work in progress, and intangible asset under development. Then second was non-current investment. There I told you about trade investments and non-trade investments or other investments which are non. And I told you that anything with which investment word is written, that is a non-current investment until time period is mentioned. So that will remain the non-current investment. So I told you many examples there, like investment in plant, investment in property, investment in equity shares, investment in government or trust securities, investment in debentures, investment in mutual funds, investment in partnership firm. You can see that with every investment, word investment is given. So it means these are investments. These are not our fixed assets. Fixed assets are those which we are using in our business. These investments we are not using, we kept them as an investment. And whenever there will be increase in price, we may sell them. But as these are non-current investments, so we'll be selling them after a long period. Then third is deferred tax assets. I told you that it is a non-evaluative topic. So we will be not discussing this topic here. Then long-term loans and advances. In long-term loans and advances, I told you about 2 advances: capital advances, then security deposits. In capital advances, the amount which we have gave in advance to buy any fixed asset is known as capital advances. Security deposits means the amounts which we have given to different type of companies as a security amount. 2 examples I give you: telephone, security deposits given to telephone companies, security deposits given to electricity companies for getting a connection. Then other non-current assets, in this any trade debtors or the any BR which is to be realized. To be realized means we will be getting back our money after a period of 12 months or its operating cycle. So this is all about the non-current assets, and today's main topic is the current assets. So current assets, we all know that current assets means, this is the last topic of the balance sheet. So current assets means the assets which are meant for resale or for their conversion into cash, or which will be having for a period less than 12 months or the operating cycle, within the operating cycle. So it has different 6 heads. Current asset is the major head. Start writing, students, its subheads. Current asset is the major head and it has 6 subheads. Which are those 6 subheads? Write down. Current investments. Leave some space to write its example. Then inventories, again some space. Then trade receivables. Fourth is cash and cash equivalent. Fifth is short-term loans and advances. And sixth is other current asset. Students, you can see that with every subheads, there is one head for others. It means anything which is not appearing in the above heads, subheads can come in others. So there is always a others head in whether it is a non-current liability, non-current asset or current asset. The last one is others. So in current investment, yesterday I told you that any investment may be current or may be non-current. If the period of holding the investment is more than 12 months, then it will become non-current. And if the period is mentioned 12 months or within a period of 12 months, then the same investment will become current investment. Suppose we have invested, business has invested its extra money in purchasing a shares in a company. So that will be the investment in equity shares, but with an intention to sell those shares after a period of 10 months. Time period must be mentioned along with that such investment. Then that investment in equity shares will become the part of current asset and will come under current investments. So all the investment examples which I told you in non-current investment are same. The only change is there we were having the investment for a period more than 12 months, and here we are having the same investments for a period less than 12 months. So current investments are those investments which are held to be converted into cash within a period of 12 months. Again, the examples are same. Marketable securities, we can say, treasury bills, these are two new examples. Debenture redemption investment, this is also the new example, and all the other examples of the previously done topic. These three are new. Marketable securities, treasury bills, which you have already studied, I think, in economics, in chapter Reserve Bank chapter, money supply chapter. Then DRI, debenture redemption investment, which you are going to study in book 2. Then investment in equity shares, investment in preference shares, in government securities, bonds, debentures, mutual funds, all which we have studied in non-current investment. So these are the example of current investment. So if any investment, no time period is mentioned. Suppose we have invested money in shares, but time period is not mentioned in the question, then it will be assumed as a non-current investment because the nature of the investment is non-current. But if time period is mentioned, then we have to consider a period of 12 months. But marketable securities, treasury bills are always current investment. They cannot be the part of non-current investment. So second is inventory. Inventory, alternative name of inventory is stock. In 11th class, we were studying it like stock. So here in companies, stock has also different examples. Like if it is a manufacturing company, then we must be having stock of raw material, stock of work in progress. It means the units, whatever the units the company is producing, are not produced completely. Some of the units are in work in progress, means some part of the work is left. Then stock of finished goods, these are the ready to sale goods. Stock and trade. This type of stock is found in a trading business. Trading business means the business which is not involved in manufacturing of goods. They are just buying the goods from wholesaler and they are selling it to the consumer. So first three stock of raw material, work in progress, stock of finished goods are related to a manufacturing concern, and stock and trade is related to a trading concern. Then stores and spares. Stores and spares means consumables. In a manufacturing company, many things are the consumables like for the maintenance of the machines, cotton waste, cotton, grease, all these things are required for the maintenance or the repairing of the machines. So they are the part of stores and spares. Basically, here we are including all the consumables. Then loose tools. Every business has some loose tools, which are very less in price, but they will be used again and again. For example, hammer, plier, screwdriver, all these are the example, and etc. All these are the example of loose tools. So these are the also the part of inventories. We will be using it for many years, but still they are not coming in non-current assets. They are coming in current assets. Why? Because for being the non-current assets, two features are to be satisfied. First feature, they must be used for a longer period. Second important feature, their price must be very high. They must be high in value. So in loose tool, first feature, they will be used for a long-term period is present, but their price is not very high. So that's why they cannot be the part of non-current asset. They will be the part of current asset. Suppose in question loose tools are given, then how you will write? Major head, current asset, subhead, inventories. Major head, current assets, and subhead, inventory. Then goods in transit. Suppose we have sold the goods, but the receiver has not received the goods. So where those goods are, those goods are in transit. Transit means in transportation. So until or unless those goods are delivered to the buyer, those goods will be the part of our asset and they will be known as goods in transit. Next, all these are the examples of inventory: stock of raw material, work in progress, stock of finished goods, stock in trade, stores and spares, loose tool, goods in transit. Next, trade receivable. This is the third part, trade receivable. Trade receivable again, BR and debtors. Who are the debtors? The persons or the institutions to whom we have sold goods on credit. They are our debtors. When the debtors accepts bill, then the debtors are converted into bills receivable. So debtors in BR are always current asset. But if time period is mentioned with them, suppose it is written that debtors are to be realized after a period of 2 years, then they will be the part of non-current asset, other non-current asset. So next is the cash and cash equivalent. Cash and cash equivalent. Cash means the amount which is already in cash form. Cash equivalents means the instruments which are not exactly cash but which are equal to cash. Equal to cash means anytime the business wants, it can convert those instruments into cash without any significant loss. Like T-bills, treasury bills. If the businessman is having treasury bills, then they can be converted into cash. Many other things, commercial paper are there, and commercial bills are there which can be converted into cash. So the other examples are there. Current assets, cash, balance with banks, checks, drafts on hand, and cash in hand. All these are the part of cash and cash equivalent. Means whatever the amount we have deposited in our current account with the bank, that is the example of cash and cash equivalents. Checks, drafts on hand, and cash in hand. Earmarked balances with banks, for example, for unpaid dividends shall be separately stated. Balances with banks held as margin money or the security against the borrowing. Suppose in your bank 5,000 rupees is the minimum balance which you have to maintain. So that minimum balance is known as margin money. So that will be also the part of cash and cash equivalent. Bank deposits with more than 12 months maturity. Any deposit which you are having with bank will be the part of cash and cash equivalent. So all these are the bank deposits with more than 12 months maturity. So that will be also the part of cash and cash equivalent. I told you that balance with banks, any check, any draft, any cash in hand, balance with bank with as a margin money, or bank deposits with more than 12 months maturity will be also the part of cash and cash equivalent. Now next, fifth is the short-term loans and advances. Any loan and advance which the firm has given to any outsider other than the trade credit, that will be the part of short-term loans and advances. But time period must be specified with that. Suppose you have given a loan to your friend, or in a partnership firm, a loan is given by firm to a partner. So if the time period is for 6 months, then it will become the part of short-term loans and advance. And if time period of that loan is 2 years, then it will be the part of long-term loans and advances. Okay, so whenever any loan is there, then time period must be mentioned there, and the nature of loan is always a long term. if time period is not mentioned. Then last is other current assets. Sixth head, other current assets, which is prepaid expenses, means anything which is left till now which have not been the part, that will come in other current assets. For example, prepaid expenses, anything which you have paid in advance is known as prepaid expenses. Unexpired insurance, advance to suppliers will become the part of other current expenses. Then accrued incomes, interest accrued on investment, or with all these terms you people are very much familiar because all these terms we have already done in 11th class. Accrued income means the income which we have earned but not received, that is known as accrued income. So any interest accrued on investment will be the part of other current asset. And if any interest accrued on loan means we need to pay the interest, so in that case it will be the part of other current liability. So in interest, be cautious. If the interest is accrued on investment, then it will be the part of other current asset. And if the interest is accrued on if the interest is accrued on loan, then it will be the part of other current liability. And if the interest is accrued on investments, then it will be the part of other current asset. Then goodwill, patents, etc. to be written off within 12 months. Not the goodwill patent, that will be the intangible asset, but it is mentioned that this much of goodwill and patent are to be written off. Written off means amortized, like fixed assets are depreciated. So intangible assets are amortized within a period of 12 months. Then it will be the part of again other current asset. Interest due on calls in arrears, it is also the part of current assets. Any call which is due from the shareholders and they have not paid, that call is known as calls in arrear. So company always used to charge interest on that calls in arrear, so it will be also the part of other current assets. So this is all about other current asset and the asset. So I am repeating all the assets again. In current assets, total 6 subheads are there. Current investments. In current investments, all the investments which we are holding for a period less than 12 months. And specific examples which I have given you are your marketable securities and trade receivables are the specific example. Treasury bills, marketable securities and treasury bills, and debenture redemption investment. Rest of the things are the same which we have studied in non-current. Non-current investment. Next is the stationery. Inventories. All inventories are always treated as current. That is the stock of raw material, work in progress, stock of finished goods, stock in trade, stores and spares, loose tools, goods in transit. Yes, students, you have to learn all these examples. Then trade receivables, debtors and BR, which are to be realized within a period of 12 months. Then cash and cash equivalent. In cash and cash equivalent, I told you balance with the banks, checks, drafts in hand, cash in hand, and any unpaid dividend amount, balance with the banks. Earmarked balance with banks means for some specified purposes you have kept your balance with bank, like unpaid dividend. You have declared the dividend, you have deposited the amount in bank, but shareholders have not claimed it. So it will be known as unpaid dividend or earmarked balance with bank. Then balances with bank held as margin money. Then bank deposits with more than 12 months of maturity. And the next is short-term loans and advances. Short-term loans and advances means any loans or advance which you have given to any outsider, but for a period of less than 1 year. That will appear in short-term loans and advance. And the last is other current assets. Other current assets means all the other assets which we have not studied till now will be appearing in other current assets. Prepaid expenses, any advances paid, goodwill, patents to be written off within a period of 12 months, accrued incomes, advance tax. All these are the part of other current assets. So balance sheet here is completed. One important concept is left, that is contingent liabilities. In 11th 2, I told you that contingent liabilities are the liabilities which are not the part of balance sheet. They are always shown outside the balance sheet. So they can also come in exam in 1 marker or 2 marker question. They are not the part of balance sheet. They are shown outside the balance sheet as a footnote. And in 11.2, I told you that contingent liabilities are those liabilities which may or may not arise. We may pay or we may not pay. That depends on the happening of a future event. That depends on the happening of a future event. So that's why it is not our liability till now. It may be our liability in future on happening of a certain event. So that's why we cannot record it inside the balance sheet, because this is not our actual liability. It can be our liability in future. So that's why we are showing it outside the balance sheet. Then one question may arise in your mind, that why, then what is the need of showing it? Why we are showing it outside the balance sheet? The answer is principle of full disclosure. As the business has to follow the principle of full disclosure, so each and every information which may affect the decision making of the outsiders, investors, lenders, bankers, we need to show in the books. If not possible to show inside the books, then we have to give all this information in form of notes or footnotes at the end of the financial statements. Example, the most important example which may be asked in the question is that is the proposed dividend. I told you earlier, here I want to clear this concept, that I told you earlier that if you are purchasing the shares of a company and you are holding with them as an investment, so you may get the dividend on these shares, because the returns of share is the dividend. So how the dividends are declared? Listen this concept carefully. So I told you earlier that the company is getting profits by making the statement of P&L. Company is getting profits. Then that profit is divided in 3 parts. First part, government share in the form of taxes. From the first part, taxes are paid. Second part, that is, then the left out profits are divided in 2 parts, retained earnings and dividend. Retained earnings, the amount which is kept by the business with itself for its future use or to strengthen the financial position of the business. Dividend, which is the distributed profits, which are distributed to the shareholders because they have invested their money. So they are also expecting some returns. So that amount is distributed among the shareholders. Now, how the dividends are declared? In annual general meeting, which is conducted at the end of the year, every year, annual general meeting, after the preparation of the financial statements. So in annual general meeting, the board of directors are declaring the rate of dividend. 10% dividend, 5% dividend, depending on the profits. Whatever the profits are left, on the basis of those profits, the dividend is declared. So now that dividend is to be approved by the shareholder. So when dividend is declared, that is known as proposed dividend. Proposed dividend means the dividend is declared by the shareholders, by the directors, but not approved by the shareholders. Shareholders are the real owners of the company. So they will take the decision about the rate of dividend. So they may increase the rate of dividend, whatever is decided by the board of directors, or they may decrease the dividend. So that declared dividend is not a liability of that particular year, because dividend was declared after making the financial statements. So that will become the liability only when the shareholders will approve it. Okay, so it will become the liability only when the shareholders approve it. So till then, it will be the part of contingent liability. And it's a very important concept, students. And as per accounting standard 4, earlier till last year, the proposed dividend, last year, the proposed dividend was considered as the part of short-term provisions under current liability. That was treated as actual liability. But when there was a modifications in accounting standard 4, you have studied the accounting standards and principles in 11th class. So accounting standard 4 was revised which is in relation to proposed dividend. And in that standard, it was mentioned that from this year, from the year 2019-20, proposed dividend will not be the part of current liability. It will be the part of contingent liability. And why? Because it is the dividend declared by the directors, not approved by the shareholders. So company is waiting till the approval of the shareholders. So dividend which is declared will be paid only when it is approved by the shareholders. So till then it will be shown as a footnote or disclosed in the notes to account as a contingent liability. Second example I am giving here. All the other examples remain same which you have studied in 11th class. Like one example I gave you that the BR discounted with the bank. BR discounted with the bank will be also treated as a contingent liability of the drawer. Why? Because if the drawee has refused to make the payment, then you have to pay the amount to bank. So it is your contingent liability. Then claims against the company not acknowledged debt. Like someone has claimed rupees 50,000 from your company and a case is going on. So until or unless the decision comes in that case, that amount will be the part of your contingent liability. So 3-4 examples I have given you. I am repeating the examples. First example of contingent liability is proposed dividend. Second example is claim charge against the company not acknowledged as debt. Third is BR discounted. BR discounted. Only 3 examples. BR discounted with bank. Then one more thing is there, that is the commitment. You can write here, it is not mentioned in this PDF, commitment. Contingent liability, 3 examples. Then the next is commitment. Commitment means financial commitments due to activities agreed to by the company. Due to activities agreed to by the companies. For example, estimated amount of contracts. Estimated amount of contracts. Suppose you have given a contract to someone and the total amount of contract was 5 lakh. Contract is incompletely done till now by the other party and you have paid them 4 lakh till now. And 1 lakh to be paid when the contract will be over, when the work done by that party will be over. So for that 1 lakh you are committed to that party. So it is your financial commitment, 1 lakh you need to pay to the contractor, but when the contract will be completed. So it is not a contingent liability. It is a commitment because you are committed to pay that 1 lakh when the contract will be over. Then second is uncalled liability on shares. Uncalled liability of shares. Suppose you have purchased the shares of a company and the price of one share is 10 rupees. You have purchased 500 shares. So you are supposed to pay 5,000 to the company. But company has demanded only 8 till now. Rupees 2 are not demanded by the company because you will pay to the company only when the company will demand from you. So that 2 rupee will be known as uncalled liability on shares. And you are committed to pay that amount whenever the company will be demanding that amount. So that is known as uncalled liability on shares. So I have told you 3 examples in contingent liability. I am repeating: claim against the company not acknowledged, then BR discounted from bank, then proposed dividend, and in commitment 2 example I told you: estimated amount of contracts which are to be completed in future, then uncalled liability on shares. So this is all about today's topic. So now I am asking some questions from you. You can give me answer in chat box, and tomorrow we'll be discussing the complete balance sheet. Tell me the subheads of fixed assets. Tell me subheads of fixed assets. All the subheads of fixed asset. No. Subheads only. Naman Jain, investment is not the part of fixed asset. Yes, tangible, intangible. These are the two Total 4 subheads were there. Yes, capital work under progress. Very good, Jatin. One more is left. Capital work under progress, tangible. Yes, very good. Tangible fixed assets, intangible fixed assets, then capital work under progress, then intangible asset under development. Yes, very good. Next. Now I am asking, I'll be telling you some assets. You have to write its major head and subhead, both. So, okay, trademarks. Trademarks. What will be the major head of trademarks? You can give me answer in chat. Major head of, yes, Thira, you have given me complete answer. Tangible and tangible capital of the previous question. Yes. Trademarks. Major head. I am not asking subhead. Everyone is writing here subhead. You have to make clear difference between major head and subhead. Fixed asset is a subhead. Major head. Major head, yes, Varun Bhatia, it's non-current asset. Anushka Kothari, first listen the question carefully, only then answer. Don't be hasty in giving answers, otherwise you may give wrong answers. So, intangible asset, major head is the non-current asset and subhead is fixed asset. Subhead is fixed asset. Very good. Next, land. Land, major head. Next asset is land, major head. Where you will show land. Major head, yes, Khushi, very good. Shubhangi, yes, everyone is writing non-current. And what is the subhead? Land, subhead. What is the subhead of, yes, fixed asset? One more subhead you have to write there. Not only the fixed asset, not only the tangible. Complete answer is fixed asset, bracket tangible. Fixed asset, bracket tangible. If you are writing only tangible, your answer may be wrong. Fixed asset, bracket tangible. Next, what is the major head of cash in hand? Cash in hand. Major. I am asking about major head. Cash in hand. Yes, current assets. Very good, Jatin. Shubhangi, it's not non-current asset. Listen question carefully. Cash is never a non-current asset. It's a current asset. And what is the subhead of cash? Subhead of cash. Yes, very good, Anshika Agarwal. Cash and cash equivalent. Very good, Naman Jain. Cash and cash equivalent. Very good, Anmol. Cash and cash equivalent. Next question is bills receivable. Major head as well as subhead. Both I want. You can write in short, need not to write a complete word. Major head and subhead. Yes. Major head, current asset. Tanmejan, yes, correct. Subhead. Current asset, subhead I am asking. For bills receivable. Subhead, yes, trades receivable, very good. Who is this? Visha Goyal, very good. Current asset is the major head and subhead head is the trade receivable. Yes. You need not to write current asset completely. You can write CA. CA means current asset. Trade receivable, TR. So you can use here short form. Yes. Next. Stores and spare parts. Stores and spare parts. Major as well as subhead. I need. Stores and spare parts. Where I told this? Today only I told this. Current asset, very good. I asked major head as well as subhead. Current asset, inventories, very good. The answer is current asset inventory. Maximum students are giving me correct answer. And Lagan and Harshita, I told you that please send me answer in private chat because otherwise everyone is able to see the answer. So please, all those who are sending answers in group chat, send me privately. So next is trademarks. This I think I have already asked. So next is vehicles. 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 Where it will come? Yes, very good. Harshdeep, very good. Very good. Jatin, Anshika, Khushi, Adit, all are giving me correct answer. Naman Jain. Naman, I have asked both the heads. And every time, no, Naman, it's not current asset. Vehicles can't be the current asset. Yes, Khushi Singhal. Vaibhav, you have written only tangible. It's not only tangible. It will be your incorrect answer. जो भी vehicles हैं, that are the part, I have asked both. major head as well as subhead. So vehicles major head is non-current asset. Very good, Toshit. And subhead is fixed asset tangible. You have to write both fixed asset tangible. Along with fixed asset, every time you have to write tangible or intangible. Otherwise, your answer will be wrong.